Welcome once again to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, San Diego Sports Talk. Always enjoy visiting with you great fans in San Diego and all over Southern California. And again, I would ask you if you're tuning in maybe for the very, very first time and watching it on YouTube, would certainly appreciate you to subscribe. We're pushing 2,000. We're pushing 2,000 subscribers, and really would appreciate it if you would subscribe, and want to thank everyone for all the great comments regarding our podcast. Again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera. You can follow me on X at Coach Kentera 44. Hope everyone has had a great week going into a big weekend in the world of sports, and we're going to get you caught up in everything going on in the San Diego sports place. Thursday night, what a devastating loss for the Padres. Holy Toledo, they had a 3-0 lead, 2 outs, bases loaded in the top of the ninth. Robert Suarez, who's been so good for much of the year, ended up giving up a grand slam homer to Parker Meadows the opposite way on a 3-2 fastball that reached 101 miles an hour. You got to tip your cap to Parker Meadows, who, by the way, was hitting number 9 in that Tiger lineup. But nonetheless, a devastating loss for the Padres. But, again, the Padres had their opportunities. They were only 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They didn't really have a lot of base runners. They only left 4 runners on. And Robert Suarez just, has been showing some chinks in his armor recently that we're going to talk about here a little bit later in the program. But nonetheless, Padres got off to a great start. Jurickson Profar homer in the first inning with a couple of outs, took one over the boards, give the Padres a 1-0 lead. Xander Bogaerts in the second rocketed a 2-run homer, and Xander had a good ball game, had 3 hits, 3 for 4. Good to see him swinging the bat. Martin Perez, after 3 very subpar performances, went out and pitched great. 6 1/3, 5 hits, no runs, a walk, 5 strikeouts. Turn it over to Jason Adam. He looked great. Tanner Scott for a shutout inning. Robert Suarez, 2/3, 2 hits, 4 earned runs. And yikes, that climbed his ERA up to 2.54. He took the loss, his record 8-3. And Jeremiah Estrada came in after Meadows' home run came in and got the final out. And the Padres had their opportunities in the bottom of the ninth, couldn't get it done. So a tough loss. They take 2 out of 3. They win the series. They got the Giants coming in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday before the Padres have a day off on Monday. And then they get back out on the road for a brief trip over there to Seattle. But just a tough one. And really, the Padres didn't do a whole lot offensively. Luis Arraez, 1 for 4. Fernando was 0 for 4. Profar had the home run. Manny 0 for 4. Cronenworth had his 27th double. Bogaerts, I mentioned, had 3 hits. Elias Diaz getting his first start in a Padre uniform, 1 for 3. He had a double. He looks good behind the plate, by the way. I think they want to get him in here. I don't think Campusano and are going to get a lot of work. And I kind of wonder how much Higashioka is going to get. I mean, Diaz is clear-cut the best guy of that group right now. And Diaz, a 33-year-old veteran, has been around. And we know what he did in the All-Star game in 2023, but he looks good behind the plate, very good behind the plate. It'll be interesting to see how Mike Schilt goes about divvying up that playing time. But I like Diaz. That was a good pickup by A.J. Preller. Then you go back to Wednesday night. What a ball game. What a ball game. The Padres, Yu Darvish coming back. And let's face it, we had no idea what to expect out of Yu Darvish. And you know what? He did probably what we should have probably figured out he would do. He was very rusty, couldn't hit his spots, didn't last all that long, ended up going 2 2/3, giving up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, had a wild pitch, gave up a home run. It's a work in progress. But where the Padres are at right now, they can afford to run him out there. I don't know if he's going to be ready to go, deep into postseason play. Padres are getting in the postseason. It'd take a monumental collapse for them to not get into the playoffs the way they're playing. And they played great baseball. I mean, remember one point in time, the Padres were 51-50. Remember that? 51-50, and where they're at now, just amazing. Still the number 1 wild card team in the National League as of right now. But they've got an opportunity to play with Yu Darvish and get him out there, try to get him up to speed, and hopefully he can stay healthy. Everything goes well. Hopefully Musgrove stays healthy. and the other guys, pitched the way they pitched much of the year. But that was probably a good sign to get him back out there. But a better sign was seeing Fernando rip that base hit to drive in the winning run and let him run around and get his jersey pulled on. That was fantastic. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I heard a lot of so-called professionals on the air after the game and the following day saying A.J. Hinch made a mistake walking Arise to get to Tatis. I totally disagree. That was an easy move for a manager. You had a runner on third base with 2 outs. You had a right-hand hitter coming up by walking Arise to go to Fernando. Fernando, let's face it, he hadn't played a whole lot. He hadn't played a whole lot in the last 2 months. Luis Arise has struck out 2 times since the All-Star break. He puts the ball in play. And what you're trying to do in that situation, you wanted to go righty on righty, which AJ set up. You had a Rise on first, who would be a force candidate at second. So let's say Fernando, we know, runs well. He's not running as well now as he normally does. He's still, battling that hip. But if you hit a high hopper to shortstop in the hole, you're not going to get Fernando at first base. But a Rise, very average, maybe even a little below average runner going to second base, you have a chance to get a force play and keep the game going. A.J. Hinch played that the right way. Right on right, getting a contact hitter on first, a guy that hadn't played a whole lot recently in Fernando, and it didn't work out for AJ. But as far as a manager, he did exactly what he should have done. I'd have been shocked if it had gone to a Rise, because a Rise puts the ball in play. So Fernando got his moment, and it was great. It was great to see. And, of course, he doubled earlier in the ballgame. Didn't do anything at all at the plate on Thursday, but it's going to take a while. He's going to need, probably 30 at-bats to, get completely comfortable. But Padres are still playing great baseball. And we can sit here, and everybody can sit around drinking a beer, talking about, well, the Padres should have done this, they should have done that. Hey, it's hard to argue with what they're doing. They're playing good, inspired baseball. And the other thing that I would mention, they didn't swing the bat particularly well on Thursday night. Casey Meisner started for Detroit. I thought he pitched pretty well overall. I gave up, 3 runs, but overall I thought he pitched pretty well. And their bullpen did a nice job to keep him in the game. But, the Padres, go back to Wednesday night, they fell behind 5-0. They come back and win that ball game 6-5, which is, just outstanding. And I was looking at the numbers. Remember last year the Padres were 2-12 in extra inning games. They could not win an extra inning game. They didn't win an extra inning game until really, really late in the year. But they were 2-12. This year in extra innings, they're 8-1. So finding a way to get it done in the late innings. Okay, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors. And I've gotten a lot of mail in the last couple of days regarding our sponsors. And first of all, I would ask you to really, if you can, patronize our sponsors. And Grangettos is our first sponsor we're going to talk about today. They're fantastic. They've been serving San Diego and North San Diego County since 1952. They have locations in Escondido, Encinitas, and Fallbrook. The thing that I like about Grangettos is they're very warm and welcoming. When I go out and I'm going to spend money, I want people to appreciate my business. And Grangettos is one of those companies. Kevin Grangetto and his family, they couldn't be nicer. They want to take good care of you. A lot of you out there, have a big garden area. You have, irrigation. You may have a problem, troubleshooting irrigation. I always talk about, why is your lawn dying? I'm one of those guys, when I was coaching, I love working on the field. Before, but especially after, kind of relive the day in my head while I was watering the infield or packing the mound. And when I go out to high schools or junior colleges or colleges, and I see, brown spots in certain areas, it really gripes me. But, if you're a youth league guy, coach, even a college guy, and you're having problems with your field, hey, get a hold of Grangetto. They'll give you everything you need to know, and they'll take a look at your field and try to help you out. But they'll also try to help your backyard look a lot greener. I can tell you that. Okay. The biggest thing with Grangettos is they care about their customers, and I like to go where the professionals go. If you go where the professionals go, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Now, I also want to tell you, you can visit their website, grangettos.com, and do that today. Don't wait until, tomorrow or Sunday. Do it now. Go to grangettos.com. I got my newsletter in my box yesterday. You can get your newsletter twice a month, and they give you some great tips. I'm not exactly Mr. Green Thumb, but I've learned a lot from Kevin Grangetto and the folks at Grangetto. So again, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply, grangettos.com. Make sure you sign up for that newsletter. It comes in your inbox twice a month. And believe me, I won't steer you down the wrong path. And in fact, you're going to be writing me emails like some of our other listeners out there and saying, thanks for telling me about Grangetto's. Again, great company, been going at it since 1952. Again, locations in Escondido, Encinitas, and Fallbrook. Okay, I want to talk about two guys, Robert Suarez and Ha-Seong Kim. Robert Suarez is 8-3 on the year. He's got 31 saves. His ERA now 2.54. Here's the problem with Robert Suarez. Now, I remember the first night he broke into the big leagues, and he gave up a big home run over in Arizona. And I know everybody was going, oh, no, they signed this guy. How good is he going to be? Well, I liked it. I liked him in spring training that year, and I knew he would come around and help. And you go back 3 years ago to the 2022 season, he did a great job. And I know a lot of people, well, he gave up that homer to Bryce Harper in the NLCS. That was the only homer he gave up all year. Okay, and he hit Harper, to his credit, hit the ball out to left field, bandbox ballpark, but hey, he hit it. You got to give him credit for that. And people yelled, Bob Melvin should have done this or Bob Melvin should have done that. Hey, Suarez is a major league pitcher. You can get right-handers and left-handers out. Well, he didn't do a real good job, I guess, on Thursday night when Parker Meadows took him over the boards for that grand slam. But anyways, he's had a really good year. And the Padres wouldn't be in the position they would be if he hadn't pitched well. But the problem with Robert Suarez is he's really been struggling lately. And he's been getting by, but a lot of traffic on the bases. And, I went back after the game on Thursday night, and I looked at his month-by-month numbers. I like to look at the logs and see how guys trend. And we know Jerkson Profar is not trending real well right now. He had a rough month of August and not off to a great start in September. But I was looking at Suarez. He pitched in 2 games in March, 2 1/3 inning, 1 run, ERA for that short period of time, 3.86. Then you go to April. He pitched in 10 games, 10 1/3 innings, ERA is 0.00. 10 appearances. Didn't give up anything, not even an unearned run. May, 12 games, 12 1/3, 0.73. This guy was almost perfect for 2 months. Then you go to June, 9 games, 8 innings. Didn't pitch a lot in June. Team was kind of up and down, a 2.25 ERA. You go to July, 9 games, 9 2/3 innings, 2.79. Then August, things started to really kind of unravel. 11 games, 10 1/3 innings, a 4.35 ERA. And then so far in the month of September, 4 games, 3 2/3, a 9.82 ERA. But then, it's easy to look at that. But then I went back and I looked at pre-All-Star and post-All-Star. And you go back to the first half of the year, pre-All-Star, 37 2/3 innings, a 1.67 ERA. Magnificent. Post-All-Star, 19 innings, a 4.26. So Robert Suarez, maybe he's getting tired. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on closers. Maybe he's getting a little bit tired right now. He's had some time off. I mean, I go back to June and July. He pitched in 9 games each of those months. I mean, he pitched 8 innings in the month of June. In July, 9 games, 9 2/3 innings. That shouldn't be too taxing. I hope he's okay. A lot of traffic recently with him. Okay, Ha-Seong Kim. He's eligible to come off the IL anytime. He's working out with the ball club. He was in Arizona with Fernando. They were over there working out. He came back when the ball club came back on Monday. He started taking ground balls, throwing from shortstop. That shoulder's just not right yet. He doesn't quite have 100%. He's throwing from shortstop, but just doesn't have the carry and the velocity right now. And he's hoping, every day it's going to get a little bit better. But right now, he's not ready to come back. Swinging the bat good. I think he feels pretty good at the plate, taking live BP on the field. But as far as throwing, He's not there yet. And that's the one thing I really feared. Man, your right shoulder, left shoulder, he'd have probably been fine. He'd probably be back playing right now. But right shoulder just doesn't have the strength in that as of right now. Okay, let's talk about the series over the weekend against the San Francisco Giants. Bob Melvin's ball club, up and down. They don't have a lot of offensive weapons. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do. The one thing they did do earlier this week, they re-signed Matt Chapman, that third baseman, who played for Oakland and Toronto and signed during the offseason. He'd signed a 3-year deal with an opt-out after the first year. Well, he's going to stay in the Bay Area. That's where he's had his most success, playing for Bob Melvin in Oakland. He was okay in Toronto. Got off to a slow start with the Giants, but they signed him to a long-term deal. 6-year contract extension, $151 million. He'll be with the Giants through the 2030 season. Good, solid ball player. He's right up there with Nolan Arenado and Manny as far as defense. Guys won Gold Gloves, won a Platinum Glove, a hell of a third baseman. And, he hits in the 240s, but he hits home runs and drives in runs. I think a good sign for the Giants. A guy that, is a good foundation guy, but they need more foundation guys. They come to San Diego with a 69-72 record. Not anything going to excite you a whole lot, but Bob Melvin's had a rough year. There's no question about it. The Bay Area fans have been on him pretty good, but his pitching staff's not bad, but offensively they're not good. And they've been running a bunch of guys up and down all year long from AAA, and I think this is more on the general manager Farhan Zaidi and the ownership of the Giants more than anything else. And they've kind of lost their fans. They've been losing their fans the last few years, but this year, fans aren't exactly running through the turnstiles up there in the Bay Area. So we'll see. Bob Melvin will be very motivated to come in and take on his old ball club. And, I was looking, Bob Melvin, everybody, points at Bob Melvin. Well, he didn't do this, didn't do that. The biggest problem is him and AJ didn't get along. For whatever reason, they didn't get along. It sounds like Mike Schilt and AJ are getting along, really nice. Well, I guess when you're winning like the Padres are, everybody's in a happy mood. But, Bob Melvin, 2 years, he was over 500 both years. There aren't a lot of Padre managers that can say that. 89-73 in 2022, second in the NL West, lost in the NLCS to Philadelphia. And then last year was a disappointing season. They got off to an awful start. They finished fast. They ended up 82-80, a couple games out of the playoffs. They finished third. Bob Melvin's tenure in San Diego, 171, 153, a 528 winning percentage, and 6-6 in postseason. I know Bob wanted to come back this year, but it wasn't meant to be. The pitching matchups for the series. Friday night, 6:40, you got rookie right-hander Mason Black looking for his first major league win. He's 0-2. He's pitched a total of 19 in the third innings in the big leagues, a 7.45 ERA. You would think the Padres may have a little bit of an advantage in this ball game Friday night. Right-hander Michael King, 11-8, 317 countering for the Padres Saturday at Petco Park. Oh, this is the best matchup of the series. Right-hander Logan Webb, 11-9. In a 3-4-3 going against the Padre right-hander Dylan Cease, 12-10 in a 3-6-2. And then on Sunday, the Giants haven't announced a starter yet for the 1:10 first pitch, but the Padres will go with hometown San Diego product Joe Musgrove. Joe pitching so well since coming back from the IL, 5-4 and a 4.09 ERA. So the Giants in town, Padres will get another day off on Monday, and boy, at this time of year, they'll take those days off any day of the week. All right, I want to tell you about our other sponsor. I'm very happy to have these folks aboard. ReliableHomebuyers.com. They are your ReliableHomebuyers.com. Let me tell you about them. They've got it all for you when it comes to buying and selling, selling, financing, even purchasing old houses. And as Josh Messiah from YourReliableHomebuyers.com will tell you, they'll even buy ugly houses. Expertise, reliability with 23 years of experience in the San Diego market, cash offers for old houses. Need to sell your old house quickly? Reliable Home Buyer will buy it with cash. They'll make it easy for you. You can contact them today. Again, Reliable Home Buyers. Contact them today for expert guidance and seamless transactions. Call them at 858-422-4116, 858-422-4116, or visit them at yourreliablehomebuyers.com, yourreliablehomebuyers.com. And again, make that phone call. The one thing that I found, and I haven't bought a home in many, many years, it is really stressful. It's stressful for the husband, the wife, the kids. It's stressful for everybody. It's stressful when you're selling, moving out of places. You've created a lot of memories, and it's stressful when you're going through all the paperwork. And the thing about yourreliablehomebuyers.com, they make it so easy for you. So easy. So make sure you check them out if you're looking to buy or sell a house, especially if you want to do it quickly. Yourreliablehomebuyers.com, and they'll take good care of you. Okay, let's jump over and take a look at the standings as we get ready to roll on a Friday going into a big weekend of baseball. Giants in town. Padres, they got to get at least 2 out of 3. They got to get 2 out of 3. Now, starting on Friday, National League West. Dodgers were idle on Thursday. Boy, they got beat up on Wednesday night pretty good by the Angels. They got the Cleveland Guardians coming in this weekend to Dodger Stadium. Dodgers right now sitting pretty at 5 games up, sitting in very good shape over the Padres, and in Arizona 5.5 back. The Giants 15.5 back, and our old buddy Black still plugging away there in Colorado, 32.5 games back. So Padres to win the division. Dodgers, it'd have to be a monumental collapse. But the Padres right now in second. Hopefully they finish in second and not in third, because they finished in third last year. Even though they only finished a couple games over 500, every year's different. Every year's different. Last year they finished in third. I want to finish in second like they did a couple of years ago. Take a look at the wild card. Wild card right now, Padres in great shape. They're up 3 games. Arizona 2.5 up. Then you take a look at those New York Mets. They're absolutely on fire right now. They've won 8 of 10. They've won 7 in a row, and they're really feeling it. There are people thinking that Francisco Lindor could get some MVP votes. Well, I think Ohtani's winning the MVP. The guy's leading the world in just about every offensive category. But, man, look at the Mets, 76 and 64, and the Braves. It's been a real struggle for Brian Snitker's ball club this year. But they go into a Friday tied with the New York Mets for that last wild card spot. And let's not count out the Cubbies. Cubbies are playing good baseball right now. 72 and 68, 4 games back. The Cardinals are hanging in there at 71 and 69. And then after that, everybody there can start looking forward to 2025 the way I see it. So there's a look at the standings. Okay, I want to tell you about a great event. And this is a great event that I'm going to go to. It's going to be on Saturday night, September 14th, the second annual Punches in Little Italy Amateur Boxing Showcase. I got a great love for boxing. My dad was a professional fighter. He was an amateur fighter, Golden Gloves fighter, and he turned pro and was a professional boxer. So we watched a lot of boxing when I was a kid. But I love going to boxing events. The amateurs are a little bit different than the pros, but this night is for a very, very special cause. Bobby D. Felipe, who a lot of you remember, ran a bunch of the Felipe Pizza Grottos here in San Diego, was a good personal friend. And when I was with the Sockers, he was one of my sponsors. And every year I'd go, Bobby, can you help me out with the Sockers? He'd write me a check and help sponsor the Sockers. A good community guy, great community guy, Bobby D. Felipe. Well, he died here just about 2 years ago at the age of 72. He's a great boxing promoter. He's in the California Boxing Hall of Fame as a promoter. He did a lot of good for fighters and promoting boxing in San Diego and really all Southern California, and did a lot of fights down south of the border. But then his daughter, Michelle, putting on the second annual Punches in Little Italy Amateur Boxing Showcase. And I'd like you to, if you're interested, the doors are going to open on the 14th at 5:30. First bout's going to be at 6 o'clock. There are going to be 10 3-round bouts. Tickets start at $50, and it's a fundraiser to support the underprivileged students of Washington Elementary School. And the money goes to the Washington Elementary School Foundation. Last year, they raised $40,000 for these underprivileged kids. And I'm going to this event. I believe in this event. I believe in boxing. I believe in helping youngsters. And Michelle D. Felipe doing a great job keeping her dad's memory alive. And again, you can get tickets a couple of different ways. You can go online to bobbyde.org, or you can give them a call at 619-420-8866. Again, you can go online, bobbyde.org, 619-420-8866. It's going to be a week from Saturday. Saturday night, September 14th, it's going to be held at Washington Elementary School in Little Italy. And believe me, we're going to have a great time and raise a lot of money for a lot of very deserving youngsters. So hopefully you'll take me up on that and come out and bring your buddies and have a fun time. Okay, on Thursday, big news in the world of women's soccer. The great Alex Morgan announced her retirement. And, I'm not surprised. I've watched Alex Morgan forever. She got on the U.S. national team in 2010 and had an unbelievable career. Just an incredible career. Scored 123 goals playing for the United States women's national team. But watching her play this year, Father Time had caught up. Hey, remember, Father Time is undefeated. It catches up with all of us. But Alex Morgan, not only did she announce that Sunday at 5 o'clock at Snapdragon Stadium will be her last professional match, but she's also expecting her second child. Congratulations to Alex Morgan. Playing for the San Diego Wave, really helped get this franchise off the ground. And it was time. She was left off the U.S. women's national team that ended up winning the gold medal in the Olympics. It was a changing of the guard. No Megan Rapinoe, no Alex Morgan. There were other players that, wandered off into the sunset after great careers. But, watching Alex Morgan early in the year with the Wave, I thought it was time. She just doesn't have it at this point in time. But you know what? Her and her husband are going to live in the San Diego area, from what I understand. She'll be a great San Diegan. She loves it down here. Her husband actually was born in Coronado. I didn't know that until I did a little research on him. And he played in the MLS for a while. So congratulations to Alex Morgan on one heck of a career. I know my grandkids, they have Alex Morgan jerseys. And I know that place on Sunday at 5 o'clock at Snapdragon for the Wave game, saying goodbye to Alex Morgan, going to be packed. I know the lower bowl's already sold out. So that's really cool stuff. And they're going to be taking on the North Carolina Courage. So congratulations to Alex Morgan. Okay, we got to talk a little bit about college football. I'm going to the game this weekend. See the Aztecs take on Oregon State. Should be a good game. Oregon State 1-0. They got a new head coach, Trent Bray. We'll see what they bring to the table. They won last week, and they didn't exactly overwhelm Idaho State. They won 38-15. First game for everybody. Aztecs, we know, came back after trailing 6-3 against Texas A&M Commerce, and they put up 42 second-half points and rolled 45-14 in that game. So will the real Aztecs show up against this former Pac-12 school? I guess they still are the Pac-12. Oregon State's a pretty good football program. Aztecs, this will be a very, very nice test for the Aztecs. That game's going to start at 7:30. Late game, under the lights, man. I'm fired up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun going to Snapdragon Stadium. I'm very much looking forward to it. Hopefully get a good crowd out there. Last week, I think they said, they had 25, and then the turnstiles reported by Kirk Kenny. They had a little over 16,000. I don't know how many Oregon State fans are going to come down from Corvallis, but I would hope they would get, 30,000. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be a sellout, but you got an Oregon State team coming in that's had a pretty good run in the last several years. Be nice to have 30,000. So we'll have to wait and see. The other game tomorrow in San Diego, USD, they play tomorrow afternoon. They play at 1 o'clock at Torero Stadium. They're going to be taking on Central Washington. They had a very nice win last week, 27-21 over Cal Poly. And then USC, mentioned in the other school in Southern California playing this weekend, SC going to host Utah State in a real late game. Aztecs play at 7:30 at the LA Memorial Coliseum. They're going to kick off the game at 8 o'clock. Utah State coming in, taking on USC. Boy, that was a huge win for the Trojans. Wasn't that a huge win? Great game. Came down to the wire against LSU and Brian Kelly. Trojans win at 27-20. UCLA's off this weekend. They will go back to work on Saturday, September 14th at the Rose Bowl. They're they weren't all that impressive against Hawaii last week. They had to win in the final minutes to beat Hawaii 16-13 on the islands. UCLA could be a tough go early on in the Sean Foster era, but UCLA off this week. So there we have it, folks. A lot to talk about, a lot to cover. Padres' big weekend series against the San Francisco Giants. I would imagine a lot of you have tickets, want to get out there, whether you're going to sit in the stands or be out there in Gallagher Square. Have a good time. And we'll reconvene with our next podcast on Monday. So stay tuned. And again, we thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. We're really trying to get to 2,000. Really trying to get to 2,000. And if you can help me out on that, I'd appreciate it. And again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera and on X at Coach Kentera 44. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully we have a lot of good things to talk about on Monday's podcast. Be well, stay safe. Talk to you again real soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.